Hey, what's up guys? So in this video we're going to be doing the Shrapnel build for the last Valor assault rifle. So I've kind of changed jaws to this build now, and it was actually pretty easy to do. All I needed to do was buy the last Valor, and you can already craft the beret hat, which is found in mystical chests. So this beret hat, it gives us shrapnel hit part +1. So basically it gives us more shrapnel hits, and this is essential for this build because it gives us basically 50% more damage because we're getting more hits. So you can already craft the beret hat, it's pretty easy to get. And all you need then is a lone wolf chest. Sadly, I do not have a lone wolf chest. But yes, I've got everything else. All I need now is just lone wolf. So I got lone wolf mask, lone wolf gloves, lone wolf shoes, and I got Bastille pants, and then I need Lone Wolf top, and that's all I need for the build. It'll only be 12 crit damage more, so it's not a big deal, but you know it would be a little bit more damage, and I would also get crit rate, but that's only when you get a kill. For the Bastille pants, when HP is above 70%, weapon damage +10. So for this build, you want to make sure to use this food item called canned meat, which is really easy to craft, and it will increase your character's shrapnel damage by 20%, which is a must-have for shrapnel. Yeah, all you need is salt and then aluminum, and that's it. That's all you need. So any meat you can have. So the way shrapnel works is there is a 4% chance to trigger shrapnel with a hit. Every crit hit counts as 2 hits. So the more crit rate we have, the more chance we're going to have to get shrapnel, basically. Crit hit grants shrapnel trigger chance +1 for 1 second. So because of the beret we have 3 shrapnel hits. You can see the red text. Well, it's kind of hard to see actually. Let's shoot 1. So you get 2. Sometimes you get 3, but most likely you'll get 2 or 3. Is upon hitting an enemy with a bullet, it deals weapon damage. So weapon damage. So for the mods, you're going to go for weapon damage, and then you're going to go for crit damage. Lastly, you go for the great bosses. So 50% attack to a random unhit part. So that's the way shrapnel works. So similar to Jaws, we need some crit rate, but not as much as we need for Jaws. We mostly need weapon damage, and for my calibration, I've got precision style, which is really good. It increases the attack, it increases the range, it lowers the fire rate, but we have momentum up on the hat, which gives us 6% more fire rate, which I actually did calculate. Now my build is almost identical to Garwood's build on Discord, if you know that guy. He has a shrapnel build, and I have used almost everything from his images, and he's got crit damage here because we don't really need crit rate as much as Jaws. The reason why I got the crossbow is because it has bullseye, and bullseye, when hitting a target, it gains the target vulnerability, which basically means I deal more damage to the enemy / boss. Now you need to hit a weak spot to get this to trigger. So it says when you hit bullseye, it will give you crit rate +30%, and it will also give the target vulnerability. We also have another +8 vulnerability. If we go to bullseye, it says it gives +8, and we also got a mod that has +8, so 16 vulnerability, and that will help us a lot doing damage. That's almost exclusively this build. We need to hit weak spots. We need to get bullseye, which if there is no weak spot on the boss, there is actually a gun which I currently don't own, called Wildfire, which has a 60% chance to trigger bullseye. It's not 100%, but that's the best you can get. And it says there is no weak spot needed. So if you just shoot 2 bullets, you will guaranteed get bullseye to proc. You can tell bullseye is procced by it being highlighted blue. There's also a chance that it spreads to different enemies, which is very helpful if you're doing a group of tough enemies like the big guys with the weird arms. And you might be thinking, what is this long axe here? Well, I've actually introduced this to our build now. This long axe is basically a fortress warfare. Now, fortress warfare is a totally different thing from bullseye. Type of like field that grants heavy armor, so it grants you heavy armor, and it gives you plus 20 weapon damage. That's the effective thing. So it gives you armor and plus 20 weapon damage, but it's only a 2-meter radius, which is very, very small. So you have to stand completely still, basically. And basically how this works, I'll just show you right now. If you do this and then you switch weapons immediately, you don't even need to do that. There you go. You can see it goes down there. So you can actually use like a weapon swap glitch here to basically stop the motion of him slamming down. There is a cooldown, I'm pretty sure, because it didn't happen again. Should happen now. There you go. So this trap here signifies this radius, basically. So you basically want to be on this trap to get this buff. Let me show you the buff. It says get super armor. That was very fast, but yeah, it only lasts about 5 seconds, so you want to be quick about it. So you need to weapon swap this immediately. So you need to go here, and then you need to go wait until you hear the sound, then use your bow, and then you get a lot of damage. I'm not even using deviant there. I get 70k damage for that because the cradle I have right here, which gives us a plus 20% weak spot damage. Wait, hold on. While in Fortress Warfare or Fast Gunner, weak spot damage plus 40, and we get weak spot damage to bullseye plus 20. So about 60% damage. That's absurd. I don't know why they put that, but that's, and we also, I think it's like 80%, because it says on the calibration that we get 20%. So it's about 80%. I know there's separate stats and all, but I would safely say it's at least 60% damage, that's unreal. So yeah, you have to stand completely still, but it is broken because you can weapon swap it very, very fast. You don't need to slam or anything, and then you just do bullseye. And I do it again. Okay, boom. That's crazy. That is unreal. I'm not even. This is using smart bullets. If I switch to tungsten bullets here, don't need to do that. There you go. I get about 60. Oh, no, more than that. Oh my god. So it's about the same. Even without smart bullets, I still get 80. So only with smart bullets I get a 90. So that's insane, and that's without deviant. With deviant you get to about 95-ish. I didn't need to do that. Oh, I did it too early. Yeah, did it too early. That's how low it is now. So you need to make sure that you hear the sound before you use the bow, because you will not get the damage that you will get from bullseye. And all my stats right now are very subpar, and this just shows how broken Shrapnel is right now in the game for a PvE. This is a PvE build. So for my armor, I have momentum up, fire rate plus 10. This just increases the fire rate, like I said in the video, where it increases it by 6. It says plus 10, but in my calculations I got about plus 6. But yeah, it might be plus 10. My calculations might be wrong. Totally fine. So all in all, this gets rid of our minus 10 fire rate. You can change this to Fateful Strike, but it just lowers the DPS. That's what I've seen with it. It just lowers the DPS. Yeah, all my attributes right now are pretty bad. I need to have weapon damage on the attributes. Crit damage is good, but weapon damage is essential for a shrapnel. This one increases. So when hitting a marked target, this is only when you hit bullseye. You get plus crit rate 10% and crit damage plus 25%. Now this does have weapon damage, thank God, but we need more mods. This is really bad that I'm stuck with this. That everybody is stuck with this. I wish there was a better mod. There is a mod called Lifeless Boost that gives you more HP, but it's still not as good as plus 12 crit damage and plus 2 crit rate, and it's just the best one overall. You can only get this from the chests in the lower levels in Iron River. It's right around here, I think. So these markers I put on the map, which you have to put on the map as well. These are where the chests are, and you can just put the pins here. And you have to farm these chests just to get this one mod, which is really annoying. I wish they could change that, because it is stupid that I have to farm this one mod. You can get a better substat with this. You can get plus 9 crit damage, and then you can get like plus 2 weapon damage. I think that's the maximum you can get. And yeah, it's a bit annoying that you have to farm this, but that's the way it is. For my legs, which I am using Bastille Pants, Deadshot, each crit hit by a non-melee weapon grants plus 5 crit damage up to 45%. So every shot you hit, which is a crit hit, it gives you more crit damage, which is broken. A very, very good mod. And my crit amplifier. So I'm just using crit damage, crit damage. This is a very good mod, by the way. It's got weapon damage as well. For the shoes, I'm using Covered Advance, which increases my damage by 20% as long as you don't get hit, and it also resets every 30 seconds. So there is like a 4-second delay when it resets. So keep that in mind. If you're wondering why you're not doing much damage, it's probably because it's in the middle of resetting or you've taken damage. So for my weapon mod, I'm using Obliterate. The more parts shrapnel hits, the higher shrapnel damage. So each part of my shrapnel, which if you didn't see the beret, it gives me plus 1 every time. So I'm getting plus 15, 15, 15, 15 all the time. And this is the best mod you can have. You can also change it to another mod, which keeps on giving you more bullets if you hit shrapnel, which you always hit shrapnel, mostly. So similar to the Jaws build I showed, where if you keep on getting unstable bomber, you keep on getting more and more ammo. It's basically the same thing with shrapnel, which is only good for LA Labs and Mandova right now. But yeah, it's pretty useful, and it does a little less. It does like half of your DPS maybe, but you can keep on shooting, and eventually it will get more damage than if you had to reload while shooting that much ammo. For my cradles, I'm using a plus 20% rifle damage. And this is only good for the bosses, so you don't really need to use this unless you're only killing the bosses. Basically, you want to throw a throwing knife at the boss, and this is only at the monolith bosses, so only Treant, the spider, the hunter, all the other bosses. So you just want to throw a throwing knife, doesn't matter where it is, and then you just want to switch to your bullseye. Well, and then you want to switch your axe, and then you want to switch to your bullseye, and then you want to switch to your gun. And then you do like 250% damage or something like that. Something unreal. And then you have to use your deviant as well, I forgot about that. So you get plus 50% for using a deviant. So that's very essential. You just want to put your deviant on the ground when you're doing damage to the boss. And there is also one for switching weapons or reloading. So you don't have to reload. You could just switch weapons, which you will be doing to get bullseye. So reloading is not essential. But you have 4 seconds to do damage in that time. There's also after hitting a weak spot, which is not very essential, but it is a good thing to put on. If you hit a weak spot, you get 25%. After a deadly combo, after hitting a weak spot with bullet, effect damage plus 20%, 25% for 3 seconds. And we've already talked about this one. This is Steady Hand, which is only for Fortress Warfare, which is the long axe. If you're not using the long axe, which I think you should use the long axe just for the bosses, then just switch this to anything else, it doesn't matter. And the last one I'm using, which is only for if you kill a target with a weapon, your shrapnel goes up by 35% for 15 seconds, which is a long time. But yeah, that's the build. Huge damage in PvE, much more than Jaws can ever do. Unlike Jaws, you can make these smart bullets with electro parts. So these smart bullets, they increase shrapnel damage by 10%, and they also increase what we get from the normal AP ammo. So yeah, they're very effective, but I wouldn't really use them. Only if you want to like melt the boss like crazy. But they are kind of expensive, and not as expensive as these, which I can only make, well, I can make more than that. I can only make like 1,000, I think it is. That's crazy. The gold ore one is just, it's crazy. Boom! I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and goodbye.